A former lawyer for the FBI is preparing to plead guilty to doctoring a document that was used to justify the FISA warrant against Carter Page. Okay, let me just say this. Wherever you fall on Russiagate, here's the problem with this. You don't have the spook industry setting out to impact a presidential election. That's what they do in banana republics. That's what you expect in South American countries that are third world countries where you have the spook industry that decides who's going to be the next president. That's really the overriding issue here, regardless of where you land on this.
You know, this story is looking worse and worse, you know, especially at this point right now. I don't think very many people, unfortunately, paid attention to this news that broke, what was it, last Friday, don't ever break news on Friday. That's where news goes to die.
Exactly, and corporate media helps it die.
Right, but this guy has said, okay, listen, I submitted the stuff to the court for the FISA warrant. I doctored this piece of evidence. It is reported that he also included the original document in there, so I don't know a lot about that in particular, but he did doctor a piece of evidence to the court, indisputable.
With an intent.
Right.
Let's get to that point. He intended to put something in motion that was going to affect the other candidate, who happened to be Trump, that he didn't want elected. So he phonies up material, puts it in front of a judge. The judge has no way of knowing. The judge doesn't know that the spook industry has phonied up material that has created this entire chain of events. I don't care where it lands. I don't care that the Russians probably did hack, and they probably had some involvement in this election, just like we do in other countries. But you don't have the spook industry determining who's going to be president.
Right, and his justification for it is almost comical because he claims, this former lawyer, who's a very young guy, by the way, he says, well...
Kleinsmith.
He says, well, I thought what I put on there was true. I thought this was true. You didn't have to touch the evidence at all. You know, you had it for Carter Page, what you needed or what you felt you needed. And if it wasn't there, it wasn't there. But this really does blow a huge hole into this narrative that had been created.
It could have been something that was done right.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is you've got the CIA and the FBI saying, hey, let's get together and affect a presidential election. I don't care who you were for, whether you were for Trump or whether you're for Hillary, it doesn't make any difference. You don't have the spook industry determining who is president of the United States. And that's what happens in banana republic third worlds. And they better this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Because if you think this guy pleaded without naming names, trust me, the guy, Durham, who's doing the investigation, if you remember, is the same guy who did the investigations on Guantanamo.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one that said, hey, you better get control of how you're treating these prisoners. And he's very vocal about it. He did a great investigation. So he's straight up. These people involved with this, they think it's over. It's just started.